hiking the Trail of 10 Falls in Silver Falls State Park. Parking at South Falls Day Use Area is 16 miles east of the town of Almsville and the Highway 22 and Highway 214 intersection. This is but one of a number of potential starting points on the loop. When on the trail, there are at least 10 waterfalls to enjoy. The difficulty rating for the hike is moderate. The hike begins. From the South Falls starting point, the hike starts in grand fashion. It then doesn't take long to get enveloped in the forest. Once at the South Falls overlook, the trail continues to the right. The occasional posted trail map comes in handy. Bringing your own copy would be appreciated throughout the hike. From the overlook, just a sliver of the falls is visible below. I then made the right turn to begin the loop. And then, I had a good view of waterfall number 1, South Falls. I eagerly proceeded closer along the loop. The views didn't disappoint, and this was only the first one of the day. It is an exciting feeling to pass behind a waterfall like this one. Despite gazing at the falls, I managed to avoid bumping my head on the rocky outcroppings. Passing behind the falls and continuing forward. South Falls is a tough act to follow. The energy of realizing there are 9 more falls along the trail helped to propel me forward. Along the way, the trail passed through a scenic and calm stretch of the creek. After the lengthy calm stretch, the crashing water ahead provided a reminder that there are some waterfalls to see. This one was waterfall number 2, Lower South Falls. I felt a bit spoiled, since this one also passed behind the falls. It is definitely an attention getter. This waterfall may even be nicer than the first one. I needed to capture another angle after drying off the lens. The parting shot. Beginning a mile-long plus stretch where there were no waterfalls. Although it was unbelievably scenic, I remember feeling a bit anxious to see the next waterfall. The waterfall junkie in me was getting a bit restless, but the scenery was worth it. And then, to my surprise, a bonus waterfall spilled from across the canyon. I couldn't let that one get away. A scenic footbridge crosses the creek. Once crossing the bridge, there are a cluster of waterfalls to explore. The first is waterfall number 3, Lower North Falls. Not every waterfall is an 80-foot drop, but there is nothing wrong with that. Each seems to have its own personality. A spur trail goes to the next falls. Waterfall number 4, Double Falls. I couldn't resist getting as close to it as I could. That was worth the little extra effort. Double Falls has a double drop. I continued on, though I felt the need to hang around longer. Then a quick stop at the next falls. Waterfall number 5, Drake Falls. This one is one of the smaller ones, but I'm not about to get critical. After all, there are more waterfalls waiting for me nearby. Case in point, waterfall number 6, Middle North Falls. This one seems almost worthy of its own park. Fortunately, I had the chance to get closer to it. And once again, even passed behind it. The third walk behind waterfall so far. This waterfall junkie was getting his fix. Okay, I'll let others appreciate it as well. Making a second pass behind in order to continue on the loop. At a major crossing point over the creek, I continued on toward the far end of the park. Ultimately, I would return to this point to cross later. Along the way was waterfall number 7, Twin Falls. I would have to reposition in order to get a better view. From this viewpoint, I can see the twin flow. Heading on toward pounding water that I could hear in the distance. I took a short use trail to view the rushing creek up close. More waterfalls waited for me ahead, so the sunset would have to wait. And then, there was that magical sound of rushing water. Reaching what turned out to be my turnaround point. I had reached waterfall number 8, North Falls. This one would definitely get my attendance. And as hoped, I would pass behind this one as well. This made for 4 walk-behind waterfalls. Since I turned around here, I missed my turn to go to Upper North Falls. If I had picked up a brochure at the start of the hike, it certainly would have directed me in a proper loop. Meanwhile, I returned to the bridge crossing to resume the smaller loop toward my starting point. I crossed the creek to continue on. A stubborn raven did not want to give up ground to let me pass. Thank you for understanding, Mr. Raven. I then approached what turned out to be my last waterfall of the day. That was waterfall number 9, Winter Falls. As hoped, it was a worthy representative of the 10 Falls moniker. I was pleased with 9 falls out of 10. Incomplete results always gives me an excuse to come back someday. Reapproaching the South Falls Day Use area. Mission accomplished. Persistence is your best friend on the hike. Being determined to visit them all made me feel like a kid in a candy shop.